In today's Top 10, we're going to turn our gaze to a sensitive subject that, even though it seems like it's not as important right now as the current pandemic or all the political turmoil, it's just as important and devastating as the rest of our troubles. In today's Top 10, we're going to see the rarest animal species in Africa. Stay with us till the end of the video to see some animals you didn't expect would make this list. Number 1 is the pangolin. The pangolin, apart from looking extremely bizarre, is the world's only scaled animal. You'd expect humans to protect such an extraordinary creature, but unfortunately, some people are so fascinated by it, they believe the scales have magical or medicinal, to say the least, properties. Because of that reason exactly, pangolins are actually the most trafficked animal on Earth, and 2 species are critically endangered in Asia. One of the scariest things about pangolins is that because they're solitary and nocturnal, researchers don't actually have reliable data on their numbers, which means things may be worse than what we're led to believe. Let's hope the pangolins would continue to roam the earth and not become extinct. Number 2, the African wild dog. The African wild dog looks like a mix between a fox, a dog, and a hyena. It's also known as either the painted dog or Cape hunting dog, and it's native to sub-Saharan Africa, and they are very rarely seen on safaris and are considered to be the world's most effective predator. It's estimated about 6,600 adults, including 1,400 mature individuals, live in 39 subpopulations, all threatened by habitat fragmentation, human persecution, and outbreaks of disease. The packs require lots of protected space because they can range over 25 miles regularly. Number 3 is the mountain gorilla. There are 2 populations of mountain gorillas. One lives in the Virunga volcanic mountains of Central Africa within 3 national parks, Mahanga and southwest Uganda, volcanoes in northwest Rwanda, and Virunga, and in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. And the other population can be found in Uganda's Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. They develop very strong family connections, which leads rangers to actually devote their lives in raising orphan juvenile gorillas, especially those who end up orphaned because of poaching. Mountain gorillas are protected from being hunted or captured by international law, but importantly, they are still considered an endangered species and their population is barely over 1,000. Number 4 is the black rhino. Black rhinos are critically endangered, with their population now being around 5,600. They are the smaller of the 2 African rhino species, and their most notable difference between white and black is not their color as you'd expect, but their hooked upper lip. White rhinos have a square lip. Their population during most of the 20th century is estimated to have been around 850,000, but the demand for their horns has made them drop down to the brink of extinction. Thankfully, even though they're still critically endangered, thanks to persistent conservation efforts around Africa, their numbers have doubled since their historic low almost 20 years ago. Number 5 is the addax. This magnificent beast looks like it came out of a fairy tale. They have beautiful white fur and love the desert with all their heart. They're also known as either white antelope or screwhorn antelope, and they're the only member of the genus Addax. It has a very long and amazingly shaped horn, and they're sexually dimorphic, with the females being smaller than the males. Their herds have between 5 and 20 members, and they're led by the oldest female in the group. Because they're very slow, they're an easy target for both humans and lions and cheetahs and other meat-loving animals. They're considered to be critically endangered with a population of less than 100. Number 6, the Ethiopian wolf. The Ethiopian wolf, also known as simian jackal or simian fox, is a canine native to the Ethiopian highlands. Although they're very similar to coyotes, you can distinguish them by their long skull and the red and white fur. They are considered endangered mostly because of the loss of habitat to farmland and also diseases they catch from domestic dogs. Its conservation is headed by Oxford University's Ethiopian Wolf Conservation Program, which leads to protect wolves through vaccination and community outreach programs. We can only hope they'll achieve their goal before it's too late for these handsome fellas. Number 7 is Rothschilds Giraffe. Rothschilds Giraffe is one of the most endangered distinct populations of giraffe, with only about 1,669 estimated in the wild as of 2016. They're one of Africa's most recognizable and famous animals, as well as being the tallest land mammal. Because it's easy for people to spot them on safari trips, kind of hard to miss them actually, a lot of us don't understand they're also endangered. Their population has increased dramatically due to habitat loss, human-wildlife conflict, and of course, and sadly, illegal hunting. To distinguish them between a regular giraffe, you have to look for the broader dividing white lines and the fact there is no spotting below the knee. Number 8 is the African penguin. Africa and penguins? Well, that's a combination that hadn't crossed our mind till now, but apparently the African penguin, also known as a Cape penguin or South African penguin, are a species confined to southern African waters. And although the African penguins are easy to see, especially at Boulders Bay on Cape Peninsula, they're one of the most endangered species in Africa. They are suffering not only because of the depleted fish stock from overfishing, but they're at high risk from oil spills. And because they're the only penguin species in Africa, they're not very hard to recognize. Just look for something that looks like a penguin. Dapper black, white plumage, and jackass brain call. Number 9, the hooded vulture. We're used to connecting vultures with death or bad luck, but in reality, the misjudged creature is on the verge of being extinct due to increased poisoning incidents. Even though their bad name comes from the fact they have fed on carcasses of wildlife and domestic animals, what people don't realize is that without them clearing out, there would be a high risk in the increase of disease. And this is not just speculation. In India, they lost 95% of their vultures, and the increase in disease was enormous. The difference in appearance between other vultures is that the hooded vulture has a smaller size and thin, hooked bill. Number 10, the white rhino. Now, we've already talked about the black rhino, so what's going on with the white rhino? Well, sadly, nothing good. Even though their numbers increased a lot in the 60s due to conservation effort, now they're headed to become one of the most endangered animals in Africa. The cause? Illegal poaching, mainly to satisfy the demand that keeps increasing in the Asian market. The good news is their conservation status is not yet threatened, but it is very nearly threatened. It's estimated that the southern white rhinos are numbered at 20,000, and the northern whites, which are much rarer, there's only 2, and both of those are females. Well, there you have it for today, and we hope you've enjoyed this top 10 about these rare animal species in Africa, and we hope it makes you think about the impact that humans have on the animal kingdom. We thank you for being with us, and don't forget to like the video and hit the notification bell, and please let us know in the comments which of these animals we mentioned that you'd hate to see go extinct and why. We'll see you next time.